So now let's step into the next one. And this is know and project your personal values. This is a favorite exercise of all my clients. And here's the thing. Most of us know we have good values. We know our values. We say we know our values. But most people have never really done a deep dive into their values. And this is a powerful, powerful exercise to help you to claim and own your voice. A lot of us would have probably done our values way back in the day, and maybe you've done a couple of exercises, but when you actually do a deep dive into your values, it's amazing what happens. I mean, our values are important because they are the foundation, but they also give us a boost of us stepping into our uniqueness. So here's the thing about personal values. They inform your thoughts, your words, your actions in everything you do, blending your outlook and everything, how you position yourself, how you walk in a room. When you own them, you own them, you walk them. They also provide you a vocabulary that is unique to you, which is very true. And this is the thing. When we start to know and own our values, the words we choose, right? You do start to use them and you start to own them. And you will find that, I mean, I've had clients who literally, once they have had their discovery of like their 5 values that are theirs, they start to walk a little differently. I swear they're walking taller and they just own them and they speak them all the time. And so I want to tell you, well, in fact, I missed one little point there. I didn't want to miss that. They create a sense of kinship and enhance a bond with your audience, which is true. So when you know and own your values, you also speak them and they do become part of your presentation. You will find you start to incorporate them throughout everything you do, whether it's in a job interview, you're doing a presentation from your team, you're getting in front of a big room. When you know your values, you will they'll start seeping in to your presentation because it's part of who you are. And again, it's part of your unique makeup. You're really proud of them and you really own them. So let me tell you a story about my client, Ben, who I adore. He's a senior executive at a company in the next year or so, will be moving into the C-suite. And his boss had flat out said to him, Ben, you need to get some coaching, because he was having an issue. Every time he walked into the room, especially with the C-suite, he wasn't himself at all. He would get very wordy. He would get very distracted, almost afraid. And if you were to meet Ben, you'd be like afraid. He doesn't come off like that at all, but he was feeling judged. A lot of the judgment was in his own head. But what was happening is he was not able to engage with the CEO. The CEO would challenge him. The CEO would make him feel badly for whatever he did, even though he's a rock star at this company. And he needed to crack that nut. And his boss said, you need to get some coaching. So he came to me. I need your help in telling my story. I need you to help me be able to present in front of a C-suite and be able to be myself, because I lose myself. And he went through the whole program with me. But what was amazing about doing the values with him, he had never done the values a project or a values exercise. He had done the typical values when we were like teenagers, whatever, but he had never done something like this. And when we did the deep dive into this, and this is what happens in this exercise, there's like 100 different value types. And then I make you go through that list and figure out your top 10. And then we tie that with story. And then we nail it down to 5. And it's through that you start to discover your word. Not the word that everybody else would choose, but your word, because you're looking at 100 and you're nailing it down, you're bucketing them, and then you pick the right word that feels right to you. You own that word. It becomes your word. Some people, it's always integrity. People say I have integrity. It's interesting, but if you were to bucket a lot of words that say integrity, you'd be amazed how many people aren't going to pick integrity. They're going to pick something else because it's a word that you choose. Well, Ben did this exercise, and one of the words that came up is he is unafraid. And we found out through his stories that he truly is unafraid. He is one of my clients who has taken chances throughout his entire career, incredible chances. I mean, if I had hours, I'd tell you, and you'd be blown away. And yet he wasn't afraid. He would do these, he'd go open an office in China and something might fail. And it's like, okay, oops, that failed. What did I learn from it? Okay, let's try this next. Like, he was a visionary in so many ways, can always see out, and he's not afraid to fail. And that's one of his greatest strengths. And yet he walks in the room with the CEO and he's failing. And it was him discovering the story behind being unafraid and realizing, I did this and I did that, and this is nothing. And I'm cheating that CEO of the real Ben because I'm worried about what he thinks about me. And I'm not coming in fully present as Ben, who, by the way, is unafraid and multiple other things. And as soon as he was able to claim that, things just started to change. He'd walk into those rooms. He would have a very different presentation and different conversation with the CEO because he was no longer going in with, he's judging me, he's judging me. He was going in fully present and confident in who he was, and that they hired him to be Ben, not a version of the CEO. And it was a game changer for him. And just that one little thing, not to mention there were so many other findings in this particular exercise, but it was that unafraid thing that is, he's armed with that now. And it literally has made him a different leader by him knowing that is one of his greatest strengths.